What are you doing, Marcy? Creeping Chad's new girlfriend on LinkedIn. Oh, she's a data analyst. I thought at least she'd be a data engineer, data scientist, with her coding background. Being a data analyst isn't as easy as you think. Also, job titles can be super misleading. You don't know how she spends her days. She could be doing a lot of complex SQL queries like ETL, or maybe she's gathering requirements from the business and turning them into technical requirements. So the field of data analytics is vast, and there's a lot of crossover between data science, data engineering, and business analyst work. Yep. Huh. I know, it's super confusing. Oh, we're late for the show. Oh, yeah.
Halloween is...
Hey guys, happy spooky season. My cat. If it wasn't obvious by the title, I'm going to be debunking myths and misconceptions about data analytics, so let's get into it. Okay, so the first myth is that a data analyst or business analyst role doesn't involve real ETL or advanced programming skills. I want to say that this is not always true. Depending on where your data is located, how much of a mess it is, how many resources the company has, what resources they have, you may end up having to do a lot of the heavy lifting on your data viz tool. And when I say heavy lifting, I mean ETL. And that is going to require knowledge on query optimization. So this could be SQL or M or data flows or DAX and Power BI, if that's the tool that you're using. This is going beyond writing simple code that just works. It would be understanding how to create the most efficient code that is quick and is not susceptible to possible errors. You would actually want to write queries that caught all of the possible errors so that the data doesn't just flow right into the reports and the dashboards and the stakeholders saw the bad data. Actually, in a lot of cases, we can put together a nice short-term solution with doing the ETL on the Power BI side, and then when we have time in the long term, we can look to pushing that work up towards the data source, like up in the pipeline, because that is the best practice, and that would be the work of like the ETL or data engineer. The next myth is you don't need a master's degree to get a good data analyst job, and this is actually so true. This is not a myth. The key is to prep yourself in undergraduate, take a lot of technical classes, so you're starting with a really strong base when you're going through your interviewing process. Having these transferable skills is gonna set you up for success. Being fresh, you may not have a specialization yet, but this can actually be a good thing when you're applying for jobs. Some really great advice I got, shout out Ted, is to let these companies know you're eager to learn and you're ready to be molded into what they're looking for in terms of developing skills. This is kind of what happened to me. I didn't know any Power BI before I started my job, and I learned a lot on the job. I certainly think if I didn't have my background, I wouldn't have been set up for success working with Power BI. The last myth / misconception, reports and dashboards are easy to build. You just drag and drop and bar charts. Like, no. Being a data analyst is not easy. Being a good data analyst is not easy, at least for me. But it shouldn't be easy because you should be continuously learning. If what you're building doesn't align with the customer experience, then who's going to be looking at the report? You want people to look at your report. You want people to be able to draw insights from it and see value in what you built. If you're lucky, your client's going to be great at communicating to you what they're looking for. But I think that it does require a lot of critical thinking to really understand what their goal is, what their role is, and what they need to know in order to make informed decisions. Also, the thing about bar charts, like, they're not always the answer. Each visual has its own unique purpose, and depending on the data structures, you're going to be wanting to use one versus another. Like, numerical, categorical, dates, so different. And then there's the whole data modeling component, which is a whole nother monster. And I take it a step further by maybe they're asking for something specific, but give them more. Like, maybe they think they want a bar chart, but really a pie chart is going to be better. That's rarely the case. Put side by side a bar chart and a pie chart and let them decide. A lot of the times, like, people think they want something, but they don't even know the half of what exists out there. So show them. Okay, so that is all I have for this video for myths and misconceptions. I hope that they have been debunked. If you were confused on any of this, and if you weren't, hopefully you're able to get some useful information out of it. These thoughts I have about these notions are coming mostly from my experience. I talk to friends in the industry as well about this, so I'm not entirely taking it from mine, but I definitely am coming into this with like a consultant perspective as well. So if anyone's in industry and has had completely different experiences, like, love to hear. Thanks guys for watching, and I hope you have a very fun, spooky October with lots of being a data analyst isn't as easy as you think.